Hey Kapasa Mufasa, it's Brendan back with another video. Now I got a comment on one of my videos asking about my Mavic Air 2 workflow and how I color grade my drone footage. Now my buddy Chris Room was the one that left me a comment. Thank you Chris for the comment. I'm sorry it took so long to get back and actually show you my workflow for color grading Mavic Air 2 footage. So if you clicked on this video, then you were going to learn how we color grade our Mavic Air 2 footage. Now I use a plugin called Film Convert. And Film Convert, if you're not familiar with it, Film Convert is a plugin that allows you to transform your footage and to kind of match up with different types of film stocks, whether it is a cinema type of film stock or photography type of film stocks. And it really gives you that cinematic, filmic quality of film, so you can get your Sony a7S III footage. And since it's in 10-bit, it shouldn't have an issue, and it'll convert it into a film stock of your choosing. Now, my buddies at Film Convert were nice enough to help us out with a discount code, which we will put down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for helping me out with this video, helping out the YouTube channel, and helping out our viewers. So we're going to edit a couple clips here in Final Cut Pro, and you're going to see why I edit my drone footage using Film Convert. So with that being said, let's start the video. So we got our boats here, and this was some of the drone footage that I got from California. This was on the coast, way out in Humboldt County. Nice little area. Anyways, so when you download your plugin from Film Convert, the power behind this plugin is that it supports multiple cameras, all the way from Red and Aries, all the way down to entry-level Canons, the Canon M50s and those type of things. And they're always updating the cameras that they are supporting. And the way it works is once you drop your plugin, it's on Final Cut, it's going to open up here and you're going to see this little Film Convert plugin. You're going to click on Film Convert and the power is right here. Whenever you download Film Convert, you also have to download your camera that you are using. So it supports a lot of cameras, as you can see. Pretty much every manufacturer is pretty much supported. Now you do have to wait a while whenever they release a new camera, but the guys at Film Convert, they're kind of a message on and on. You can message them and they're pretty responsive and kind of give you an idea of when your camera is going to be available. Let's say you got the new Red Komodo or something and you want to know, you can usually message them and they're pretty quick to respond. Anyways, so since this is the DJI Mavic Air 2, we're going to go and we're going to select DJI, and then it's asking us for the model. And it's super easy too. So let's say if you don't have the camera profile installed yet, it'll ask you to download it, and you just click the download tab and it takes you to the website where you can download it super quickly, restart Final Cut Pro, and then get going on your editing. So anyway, so now our model, it's asking us for which model we have. And as you can see here, the Mavic Air 2 is not supported yet. However, when I reached out to the guys at Film Convert, they basically said you could probably use the Mavic Air profile and it'll most likely match up with the Mavic Air 2 because it's D-Cine-like. So before we talk about color grading, we need to talk about the settings in camera with your Mavic Air 2. Now it's super important because if you have terrible footage, using a plugin like Film Convert is not going to save your footage in post. It's not going to happen. You can sometimes recover nasty footage, but if it's not shot correctly, you're gonna have issues later when you're trying to edit. So let's talk about the settings really quick. So the format, I usually go into my settings and just really quickly, we're gonna just cover the settings real quick, which is the format that I record in is MP4. Now the color mode, you have normal and you have D-Cine. Like normal is pretty much like your standard picture profile, and D-Cine like is like the Mavic Air 2's version of like log, and it's a little bit flatter, gives you a little bit more dynamic range. I don't want to say more dynamic range, but at least gives you some flexibility in post when you're trying to color grade. Now our coding format, we have H.264 and 265. Obviously H.265 is going to be your better option there. So we're going to go H.265. And then really quickly, my settings. I like to shoot in 4K 24p and keep my shutter speed at, you know, the 180-degree angle, so 1/50th. If it is too bright outside, sometimes I'll crank that up just a little bit to 1/100th. And by the way, I have a ND, I have a 16 ND, the one that comes with the kit, the Fly More kit. So I have an ND filter on there. That's probably why the shutter speed is a little bit lower for a bright sunny day like, you know, it is there. And then my kelvins, I like to adjust the kelvin on, you know, anywhere from 5500 to 6000. I usually do it manually. I don't like to have the drone auto white balance for me. Okay, so once we select our camera that we're using, in this case it's the drone, the Mavic Air, and then the profile that we shot it is in D-Cine-like. Then we're going to go through some of the controls here. Now you have your standard controls like your exposure, your temperature, your tint, and then here is the power of Film Convert. You've got your film stocks, and you have a lot of film stocks to choose from. Now personally, for me, I really like this Kodak. It's so the first two letters are usually the brand of the film. So like you have Kodak, FJ is for Fuji, IL is for Ilford. So Ilford would probably be like your black and white if we were to switch to C. So you got black and white film if you wanted to do black and white. So that sort of thing. And then the numbers here are usually like the model of the film. And usually sometimes the numbers at the very end, like this 100, 400 would be like the speed of the film, right? So my personal favorites are the Kodak 5207. I like the Fuji 8563 sometimes. It does give a little bit more like warmer texture to the photos or to the video that you're using. And also Fuji Prove 100 or Provia. And I would say even, we haven't used this for a wedding film to grade it, but the 400H Pro has been really like widely used film for film photographers in the wedding industry. So maybe if you had like a wedding film, maybe trying to color grade with this Fuji 400H Pro emulation might be a good option, since it might match better with your presets or your film that you're shooting on if you're making a video for your couple. So anyways, so the one that I like to use is this Kodak 5207. We're going to use that, and that's pretty much already a great start. We've already applied it, and if you could, as you can see on the screen, that looks pretty good. We got a good starting point. Now let's go to this grain response. The grain response, we have grain strength. Usually I like to kind of pull back a little bit because I feel like the grain can be a little bit too much. And then you can have these presets, which is you have full frame, super 35, 8mm. So basically the smaller this film, so like 8mm would give you like a really like a lot of like heavy, dark, like just beefy grain. And the higher you go to 35mm full frame, the more finer the texture of the grain would be. And a lot of the guys at Film Convert have really gone through like a lot of testing on getting this down. And then you have your grain curve. So let's say you wanted more grain in the shadows, like in the blacks and stuff, and you just increased it there. As you can see, you're gonna have a lot of grain. Conversely, if you wanted it like here in the highlights and the whites and stuff, and you wanted more grain, let's say you just wanted like a lot of grain, you would go there. As you can see, you added all the grain into the highlights. So there's a lot of flexibility with this plugin. Then they give you color wheels and color curves. So if you like to edit with your color wheels, you can do that. If you like to edit with the curves, you can do that too. And then it also gives you a little bit of your levels here. So for this shot here, there's not much left that needs to be done, to be honest. I like to edit with the curves, especially if you're kind of like in log and stuff. And I want to say we're going to bring the blacks down here just a little bit, and we're definitely going to bring up the highlights more. And so we're going to drag this over. There we go. So we can add a lot of contrast. And then I would say we're going to make a point right here in the center of the curve, and we're probably just going to drag it down, and we're going to bring our mids down a little bit more. And now we got this nice little highlight sliver that's going across the center of the screen. And so like our mountain is pretty dark, down here is pretty dark, but at the center is the focal point where all the boats are at. And I think that looks pretty good. Now we can add a little bit of like stylized look to finish this off. And what we're gonna do here, we could probably make the water a little bit more darker, more deeper blue. And we're just gonna go in our color wheels here, and we're gonna grab our shadows, and we're really just gonna kind of like and kind of move it down a little bit to kind of give the water a little bit more blue. Same thing with the mids. We're gonna drag that down, and we're really gonna make this blue, like, make the ocean like really blue there. Since this was shot at golden hour, it doesn't look like it, but because it's very cold in Humboldt County all the time, so it's all, you know, the weather there is really cold. Actually, the water was freezing, but since it wasn't golden hour, there was a sunset, we can go to the highlights, and this white part of the image here, we're just gonna add a little bit of orange. Nothing crazy. We can pull back actually a little bit, just a little bit of orange, just to kind of hint that it was kind of at sunset. But this general clip was very blue, and that's pretty much it there. And if we go to the before and after, this was our before, shot in decine-like, straight out of the camera, and then we go after, and boom, we got a nice stylized look, a lot of contrast. It looks great. If you're getting value from this video, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it helps me, helps the channel out, and you get to see more videos that I'm posting on a weekly basis. And then we have our second clip here, right? So what I do is I like to go on my clip, I hit Command C, I go over to my next clip, and I hit Command Shift V, and it's wanting me to paste, asking what I want to paste, and we're going to paste our plugin, and then boom, we have two clips now that are matching. And honestly, I really don't have to edit this second clip. There's not much I would do. They match up pretty well. It's this nice dark and moody, you know, type of scene here. So let's go to our next clip. So here we've got drone footage again of some water. And what we're gonna do here, we're gonna drop our plugin again. We're gonna open up our plugin on Film Convert, and we're gonna select it, DJI, Mavic Air, and decine-like, boom. So here we got a good starting point, and what I like to do here is we're gonna go back to the curves again, and we're gonna add a lot of contrast. So what we're gonna do, we're really gonna bring our black point down here, boom, really nice and dark, go up to our highlights and drag that over, because I really want a lot of contrast in this. The thing about structures and stuff with drone footage is you can really push a lot of contrast into building, because we're not editing people, we're not editing skin tones or anything like that. So you can really push the grade here. So we got a lot of contrast. If you look before and after, boom, we've already done a lot to this image. And we can put a point here in the middle, and really maybe we can just kind of bring down the mids even more right there. So now we're really talking, got a lot of mood in this shot. And so now, again, I like to bring my grain strength down, because I don't like a lot of grain in the shots. But see, the water from the valley where I live doesn't look very well. It's usually green most of the time. So we're gonna change that. We're gonna go into our shadows, and we're gonna make it nice and blue. We're gonna give us some blue water. Mid, same thing, right about here. So we're gonna have some nice blue water. And then again, teal and orange, you already know what I want. So there we go. And then we're gonna grab our mids, and we're just gonna kind of drag it down even more, even our shadows too. And we're gonna get this nice, like, deep blue, oceany water. And look at that. If we play back, got a nice contrast. It looks really nice. If you look at the before and after, boom, after, we are rocking it. So same thing, we get Command C, and we're gonna go Command Shift V to our next clip, paste that on, and you know what, it looks pretty good. The only thing I would probably change here is the sand is kind of blue. So instead of having blue, we're gonna add a little bit of orange to the mids, so that way we have nice, and then we might just need to move this over just a tad. So now we got that water kind of matches up a little bit, and there we go, and there's our shot. And this is really quick, really easy. Alrighty, so the reason why I use Film Convert when I'm editing drone footage, if you guys know, there's a certain LUT that I like to use a lot for my videos. However, if I have drone footage, or if I need to match different cameras in post, Film Convert is the answer for that. Let me show you why. I have two clips here that I just filmed. I'm working on a TikTok series. So this clip right here is the drone footage of a venue that I'm working with, and then this one here is the A7S III S-Log III film footage, whatever. So trying to match the drone footage to your Sony footage is going to be pretty difficult. But since we have Film Convert and it works with multiple camera profiles, all you have to do is tell Film Convert which camera you shot it on and what film stock you want to use, and it'll do its best job to convert that to the Rec 709 of that film. You know what I mean? And so what we're going to do is we're going to grade this really quickly because I'm running out of battery on my laptop. So again, DJI Mavic Air D-Cine Link, boom, 5207. Now I think here what we'll do is we'll just bring the mids down a little bit and bring up our highlights, and our sky's kind of blown out. This is the thing I was talking about, where if I wanted to expose for these trees, most likely the sky is going to get a little bit blown out, which is fine. Now the only thing I don't like about this is that again, grain strength down, is that it's kind of cool here. So I'm going to get our temperature slider. I'm probably going to warm it up a little bit here because it was kind of a bright sunny day. And here, and we might add a little bit of magenta because I feel like it's too green in our general exposure. So there's our shot right there. Okay, so that's kind of our, I guess, our quote unquote hero shot before and after. Okay, so then now we got to do is we got to try and match. Might be a little bit easier to match 10-bit to an 8-bit camera, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and match our A7S III footage to the drone footage. So we drop on our Film Convert plugin, open it up, and now instead of going to DJI, we're going to use our Sony profile, and it's the A7S Mark III, and then it's going to ask us what profile we shot it on, which is S-Log3 sgamma3.cine, and boom. So now let me see, let's pull back the grain strength a little bit because I don't like a lot of grain, and we're going to try and kind of match kind of the film or the stocks to each other. So let's go back and forth now. I wish I had like a split screen to show you, but here. So this is the drone footage, and then that's the that's the footage from the A7S. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that's pretty close. That's pretty close to me. Now, if you shoot your white, if you get your white balance for both cameras pretty reasonable, like if you're shooting roughly in the same white balance, 5600 Kelvin, 5500 Kelvin, or whatever, on your shoot, and this can't be possible if you screwed up your white balance, right? Like if your drone footage is like super cool, and then your A7S III is super warm out of camera, trying to match those two is not going to happen. Okay, but if you get in this just general ballpark of your white balance, and then you go and you add these plugins, look at this, that's your hero shot, and then boom, that is amazing. It's really good. And this is why I use Film Convert when I'm using drones and I'm trying to match the A7S III to the drone footage. That's the main reason why. Now, they also have another plugin called Cinematch. I have no idea how to use that plugin. I'm pretty sure it's easy, but it gives you it matches all the cameras to like a general Rec 709. So if you have Panasonic, you have Nikon and Sony, all in the same like film that you're trying to edit, it allows you to match all those three cameras seamlessly in post. The same thing applies here. This is more of like a filmic style of matching versus the Cinematch, which is just like a standard Rec 709, no filmic qualities whatsoever. It's just cut and dry. But this is amazing. And that is, one, how I grade my drone footage, and two, how I get it to match up with my A7S III, because that's the issue that a lot of people will have when they're trying to use drones and, you know, high resolution cameras in the same film. So anyways, that's how I do it. I hope this video wasn't too long. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, because I got a lot more content like this coming your way. Anyways, guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.